Welcome to the Filmcast. This is our review of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I'm David Chen here with Devindra Hardawar and Jeff Canada. Here is the plot summary of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery from IMDb. Famed Southern detective Benoit Blanc travels to Greece for his latest case. So, Devindra Hardawar, obviously, we are big fans of Rian Johnson here on the podcast. Rian Johnson has appeared on the podcast for every single film he's done since
we're a little tainted with the Rian Johnson stuff.
Yes,
but
yes. You can definitely smell Rian Johnson's taint on this podcast.
It's been that way for years. Yeah.
And hopefully we'll welcome him back again sometime in the near future. But putting that aside, this is a follow up to a very successful movie where Rian Johnson in Knives Out 1 tried to take the classic closed circle mystery and reinvent it for the modern age. And he did so very, very successfully with Knives Out 1. Here, it's a little bit more ambitious. It's a mystery where people are traveling and they're on an exotic island. The number of characters seems to be more sprawling. The level of storytelling, the depth, the complexity, the layers, it all seems more ambitious.
Everything.
The cameos, it seems more ambitious than last time. So I am curious, how well did Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, work for you, Devindra?
I think incredibly well. I've seen this movie twice
by this
point because I saw it in the theaters and then my wife wanted to see it again, so we watched it together. And I freaking love it. I think it is a complete blast, a ton of fun, incredibly well written, but also something I did not expect, but like a full-on takedown of people like Elon Musk and tech billionaires and things like that. And as somebody who covers a lot of this stuff and has to pay way too much attention to what these people are saying, I found a lot of that very hilarious and insightful. I think this movie is a ton of fun. The core mystery is really, really well done. And I think everyone is just like, it feels like everyone is having fun making this movie. And I kind of love anything like that. So it feels like Rian Johnson is like really just firing on all cylinders here, just with the level of the mystery here. And also Daniel Craig just feels like he's like, I'm not Bond anymore. I could just relax. I can like go on vacation, do other things. And like, I just feel everybody is like giving us their A game here. Dave Bautista, hilarious as usual. And I think my MVP of this movie is Janelle Monáe because I love her in general in anything. I think she's a tremendous singer. And I think what she does here is really, really interesting and fascinating too. So yeah, I love this movie.
All right. Devindra loved it. Jeff Canada, what did you think of Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery?
Well, Dave, I guess you could say what I felt about Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery is best summed up in the form of a limerick.
The title rolls trippingly off the tongue, I think.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Knives Out was certainly one hit that was so incredibly fun. It deserved a sequel. Glass Onion's its equal. It could only have been Rian who done it.
Oh, nice. No, that's one of your strongest ones, Jeff. I really like that.
I love the movie as well. He is a genius. And if he only ever makes Benoit Blanc mysteries for the next 50 years, I would be happy. I would be happy. Like, this is a James Cameron Avatar situation. If he wants to just make these kinds of movies, nobody's making these. Nobody's making modern mysteries, and he's so good at it. It's so genius.
I do think Kenneth Branagh is like, hello, sir. I'm remaking
all these. Yeah, but that doesn't take place in modern day.
It doesn't.
And they're also adaptations. These are original.
Original. So good.
Brilliant. I don't know how you write something like this. I don't know the puzzle boxiness of it, the layers, it is so brilliant. And my favorite thing about this movie, which really need to get into in spoilers, is how it subverts expectations.
Yeah.
Because you think you know what this movie is going to be, and you don't. And I love it. I love it. I love how he knows that you think you know, and he knows what you are in the hands of a master who is toying with you and playing with you the whole time. I will say there is something at the end that I very much did not like. I think you guys can probably predict what it is. We'll get to that in spoilers.
All that nanotech in the movie. But anyway.
When Daniel Craig gets that helmet that just materializes over his head. But so much of this movie is absolutely delightful. It's so fun. It's so funny. It's so smart. It has so many surprises in store. There's so many people in it that you just enjoy watching. It has great sort of visual flair. There's fun ideas everywhere. It is there's, we're in the middle of sort of award season-y time. So I guess my current opinion is skewed slightly by that, in feeling like there's nothing fun in the movies right now. Everything is like
there's a lot of
serious and
stuff,
heavy and intense, and
Jeff is really looking forward to our review of Bones and all next week.
I enjoy, listen, I like movies that are, I loved Women Talking, right? That's a great movie. But it's really nice to go to the movies, which I did here. I went to the movies to see Glass Onion. It's great to go to the movies and just have a blast.
Yeah.
Just have a great time.
Yeah.
Yes. It does feel like a vacation. And the people in the movie are on vacation. And so you feel like you're on vacation with them. And it's just so much fun and so surprising and so smart. And I want Benoit Blanc to have as many iterations as as Mission Impossibles. I just want this series to keep going and going and going, because it's great.
I really enjoyed the film as well. I think you do a great job of summing it up, Jeff, about how I think Rian Johnson's whodunit mysteries are in dialogue with what the audience understands about whodunit mysteries.
Yes.
Right? That he knows what you expect from a whodunit mystery, and he will actively try to subvert that at most turns. And I really like that. It's very clever. The movie does a lot of clever things. And as you said, Devindra, it does, as I was watching this in the theater a couple weeks ago, was week 3 of the Elon Musk takeover of Twitter.
How happy is Rian Johnson? It could not have synced up. I mean, he's been working on this movie for 2 years.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of evidence to tell. Some people are very dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also going to put this out there. Really random observation. But I liked that this movie dealt with COVID.
It did.
This movie had people wearing masks. There's at least one scene where they're all wearing masks, and it's wow. He had a scene where they're all he covered up the faces of these A-list stars. Yeah.
He literally wrote, May 2020. This is a historical, and it's funny to hear you say that, Dave, because I was thinking about you when I was watching that, because I remember distinctly you saying I don't want to see a bunch of movies that have to deal with COVID. I don't want. I have to deal with COVID.
Great David Chet impression, by the way. That's really awesome.
I don't want to see.
Turn to Tim Robinson over here, yeah.
Right? Don't you remember that?
I do remember that
notion of we're going to see everybody's take on COVID. And here, it does feel it's kind of awesome that this movie acknowledges is set in that time period.
The way some people ignore it is a character flaw for them.
It's a character. It's a characteristic, and also based. I don't think when Rian Johnson was shooting this, that he knew that basically people would be screw masks, we're all going back to normal afterwards. And I think this is, as you put it, Jeff, this is now a historical document. We're gonna be no one's ever gonna make a movie like this again, I don't think, unless there's another pandemic and we change our practices or whatever. Hey, there was a time when people wore masks and it was awkward sometimes when you had to negotiate it, and I just like that it captured that. That was cool.
Right.
So but yes, Jeff, this is not a movie that was about COVID in that way. So.
No, I know, but I do. I love that now it has become this nice little thing that's in a movie rather than
even the way they handle it. And maybe we'll talk more about that in spoilers, but the way they handle it in general, I think is really smart and fun.
I do think that the movie is a little bit more shaggy than the first one. The first one felt very tightly constructed, and this one takes a lot of detours.
Yes.
For fun Rian Johnson flights of fancy.
Yes.
And it is fun. They're fun, but it's also the movie is less tightly constructed because of it, and it ends up being, I think, 2 hours and 20 minutes long or something like that. So it's not as it doesn't feel as propulsive as the first one did for me, but the mystery is still really smart. A lot of things about it are still really smart. So I still ended up really enjoying it. Love the themes as well. It's a fun time at the movies.
My crowd, I wish more people had a chance to see it in theaters, but I saw it in a mostly full Saturday night crowd, and people were loving it, fully on board, fully in tune with what the movie was doing.
That's awesome.
We don't get those experiences very often.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right. Well, folks, let's talk about spoilers for Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery starting right now. I wrote down a list of really fun, clever stuff that this movie does. Right.
Yeah.
My wife is obsessed with Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Novels and stories. She literally listens to multiple Agatha Christie podcasts. So she's like an Agatha Christie expert, basically. And she helped me point out some of these things. So like some of this comes from her. But one of the big things about Agatha Christie mysteries that's a challenge is the main character, the protagonist, is usually the detective. And he or she usually doesn't change very much over time.
Right.
Like they're static, but like it's everything else around them that changes. So it's difficult to have a whodunit where the main character is the detective and the protagonist and have it be interesting because it's like that character's not really going through a journey. So this movie gets around that by having two protagonists, which I thought was pretty clever, right?
Well, I think the function of a Benoit Blanc mystery is for Benoit Blanc to empower another character.
Yeah, it was the same. The first movie basically did
exactly
that
the same. Yeah, I think that's the trope, is that this isn't about Benoit Blanc solving the mystery as much as it is about Benoit Blanc helping another character solve their own mystery.
Yeah. So that was clever. Obviously the Janelle Monáe reveal that she's playing a twin and that it's two characters is very fun.
So good. But that cut, by the way, like when she was shy, I was like, oh no, are we gonna do this? And then like then my sister also killed. Is this movie gonna kill Janelle Monáe twice? Break my heart.
My favorite.
I do think that the movie kind of like have its cake and eat it too.
Sure,
like,
for sure.
I almost thought like, oh, like is the movie going to be about Benoit Blanc dealing with the guilt and consequences of having gotten Janelle Monáe killed?
Right. Because we go a long time in that flashback before we get to her actually being alive.
Yeah.
Saved by her sister's like leather booklet, which is fun. Yeah.
I agree. It does feel like have your cake and eat it too, but I'm having so much fun by that point that I don't even care.
I love the cake.
Yeah, it's great cake. Exactly. But before that, for me, the best moment of the entire movie is are we playing the game now? Okay, I'll solve it. Which you think is going to be the whole movie is investigating the island, and you're certain he's gonna die, and it's gonna be that trope that we've seen so many times. I literally did a Dungeons and Dragons module that was this exact thing. Is like, come to the house and do the murder mystery. Oh, he's actually murdered. It's such a trope that Dungeons and Dragons has done it, and you just think, oh, I know exactly the form this movie is going to take, and then immediately he's like, okay, did we start? Okay, I'm the world's greatest detective. I already figured out your dumb little game. So brilliant. So to just honestly throw it away.
I expected that the movie would do that, and the reason I love Rian Johnson movies is that he is in my brain. Like if I were to make like a super smart detective movie, like throw people off entirely and do something completely different. Of course he did it. It's amazing.
Well, on that note, like there's so many other like little subversive moments. So like the big one being you see Janelle Monáe bash open the box at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then you see like Benoit Blanc like getting a box.
Yeah.
You don't see it. You see
hear
someone say like,
you
hey,
hear it. It's at the door.
Somebody who sounds very familiar too.
Somebody here is with a box. By the way, I couldn't tell if that was Hugh Grant playing himself.
Yeah.
If it was actually Hugh Grant or just somebody who lived with Benoit Blanc.
Hugh Grant is playing the character of Philip.
Got it.
So I believe we're to believe that Hugh Grant and Daniel Craig are in a relationship in this movie.
Got it.
Yeah.
So then you're like, well, so Benoit Blanc got a box, and you're like, well, the one person he didn't get it from is Janelle Monáe because she bashed her box open.
Her.
She bashed the whole thing open.
The movie hides certain things so perfectly.
Good.
Right. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, actually it was Janelle Monáe because you didn't see him get the box.
Yep.
And then of course there's this whole speech where Daniel Craig is like, he gets an invitation, but from a mystery person. And you're like, wow, so one of these people invited Benoit Blanc to the mystery, but it was like he invited himself.
So brilliant.
And so there's just so many like little things like that where it's like, you think you're like, oh, well, I know that that's a trope of this thing where like he says an anonymous invitation is nothing to be trifled with, which is a very funny line. But it's like he invited himself. And it's like, that's good
just
stuff.
connects so beautifully. Like that is what I love. It is an intricate clockwork here happening. What do you guys think about all the celebrity cameos? Because I did see people complaining about that, and I almost felt like he's almost having fun with the idea of like when Yo-Yo Ma shows up to explain a very crucial plot point. It's like he knows what he's doing,
Of course,
and it's kind of fun. The little Zoom meeting with
he's
two
on a
people who are
Zoom
dead
call.
now. Yeah,
on a Zoom call with Stephen Sondheim and Angela Lansbury. You know, it's
and
like
Natasha Lyonne. It's fun. It's so
brilliant.
much fun. I saw people complaining that it was like what's his name, the political filmmaker who makes those political comedies. It does not
Armando
feel like
Iannucci.
No, American dude. He just did the disaster movie whose name I just can't remember.
Old Saturday Night Live guy. What's his name?
Cultural Impact. He just did a movie. With
he just did Don't Look Up, right?
Yeah, Don't Look Up.
Oh, Adam McKay.
Adam McKay. Yeah.
A lot of people are like, this is very much Adam McKay in the sort of like vibe, the sort of like bluntness of the political commentary, especially early on in this movie. And I just didn't feel that at all. Like I was having fun with the celebrity cameos because they kind of functioned exactly like you'd want them to. It's like, hey, that's funny. I know that person. It didn't lean on that too much. Yeah.
It felt a bit much to me. I'll just say it felt a bit much to me.
Oh, I figured. That's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah,
because it does add significantly to the runtime of the movie, you know, and it's like it's theoretically like
significant,
inessential to the movie.
It's not that long. The Hugh Grant thing is like 30 seconds. Like it's
but like there's the Hugh Grant thing. Anyway, I guess here's what I am happy about. Right, is that like I think like the reason these people decided to participate in this movie is because they all love. Knives Out 1 and or Rian Johnson, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so he has become an internationally beloved and respected figure. And if he has the option to shove a bunch of cameos in there, why not? Why not? If I was in his situation, I would probably do the same thing. So I can't fault him for it, but I don't know that in my opinion, I don't know that it makes the movie better. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it necessarily does, but it does feel like it is. This movie has so many levels of flexing going on. Like that is sort of like Yo-Yo Mom's just gonna pop up and just explain this very, very important part of the puzzle.
But also, it adds to the notion. It adds to the mythology of Benoit Blanc and the other characters. Right, Kate Hudson's character is the kind of person that hangs out in a pandemic pod with Yo-Yo Ma. You know, it's like that's the kind of person it adds color to those characters. Benoit Blanc is so famous that he gets on a call with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Stephen Sondheim. It's like
so good.
You know, that's awesome.
I think
Ethan Hawke shows up to immunize everyone, which I thought was
so funny.
Or inoculate everyone, which is pretty
and
cool.
And even the whole like a great little cameo there, but the way they go about that is just like, hey, COVID's solved for the rest of the movie. Okay? Of course, the rich people got this device that could just fix it. That reminds me of when like this stuff started happening, right? And everybody I knew at Google and a lot of other places got these like crazy ass tests, like at home PCR level tests that cost a crap ton of money. Nobody else had that, but all these people like immediately got this stuff from their like high level tech companies.
Anyway,
I like the Serena Williams cameo too, where she's like, is money gonna? It's your money. Yeah. It's so funny. But okay, so Dave, my issue with this movie,
what's the thing that bothered you?
My biggest issue with this movie, and you guys might make fun of me for it, but I really, really had a hard time with the fact that we're supposed to applaud the destruction of the Mona Lisa.
I don't know if we're supposed to applaud it.
It's the win. It's the master stroke. It takes down our bad guy. It's what Benoit Blanc wanted her to do. It's what she did. It running and hitting the button to reveal the priceless artifact. And it's in the context of the movie, we're taking it away from him, but we're also taking it away from humanity. And it really bothers me. It really bothers me. It genuinely bothers me.
I don't see that. Yeah.
I'm curious. Well, here, let's explore deeper.
Let's go deeper.
Why, Jeff, does it bother? Because for me, the Mona Lisa in reality was not destroyed, right? So it's just like
it wasn't. How
real Mona Lisa?
Yeah. Oh, you're saying because it's just a movie
in our real? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but in the context of the movie, we are to believe that the real Mona Lisa was destroyed, right? And if I'm buying the fiction of the movie, which is the job of watching a movie, then I am to believe that the hero, the protagonist, the person I am to root for, her master stroke in taking down this bad guy was to destroy a priceless human artifact.
She didn't really have many choices, did she?
Well, it doesn't.
Right?
That's not about that.
That's what it's. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, so
because she's pressured into the situation because like we got the evidence, got the napkin, and like he will do his thing and just destroy it. And the sheer weight of his power and his legal, his money and everything means that nothing will ever happen to this guy. So,
so Jeff, my guess is you like revere the Mona Lisa as like a great work of art, or
I think,
you don't want anything that advocates the destruction of art in general. Sure. I guess is that.
Well, yes, I don't think that. I think that if this were to happen in real life, the destruction of the Mona Lisa would be a loss to humankind. I think the idea of like, let's blow up the Great Pyramids or let's destroy the whatever, it doesn't matter what the thing is. If our hero's great solution to the problem is to eliminate an antiquity, is to destroy something that has value culturally to the people beyond the characters in this movie, I have a hard time getting behind that. I think that would be a massive, horrible thing for the world.
My thing is, it wasn't just done for fun. It's sort of like what this guy was doing. Like, let's not forget his evil villain plot, which is essentially put hydrogen gas in people's homes. It's like the only thing that could stop him, because all of his friends are spineless and nobody's going to say no to the tech billionaires, and be like, look what he did. Look what this technology did. It killed the Mona Lisa. And like the greater good is that, maybe this technology doesn't roll out and potentially kill people. Like that was, I think, the moral logic there. But also I've been thinking about this in terms of like the eco activism we're seeing. And I kind of have come to the point where it's like, you know what? Yeah. If people are going to freaking listen because somebody throws some mashed potatoes on a painting and now you're going to pay attention to climate change, sure, do it. Because we are kind of hurtling towards destruction right now. And so many people are like completely ignoring it. So I've also been thinking about this, Jeff. And I am also thinking like, fine art is good. It's great. It's great that it's existed for so long, but we also there's things people could do for messaging where it's like, I know people don't agree with this, but if somebody's trying to make an actual statement that could save lives and help save our planet, I'm not going to fault them too much for that.
And it hurts my heart when I think of like, invading armies, just taking pot shots at priceless works of art. All these things that we know have happened. Countless incredible works of human ingenuity, of art and beauty have been wasted for what? And I think that's what I thought at the end of this movie is like, that was wasted for what?
To save the world.
That's what it took for all the other people in the room.
It was wasted to save the world.
But it was only to convince all the other people in the room to say they saw a thing. They could have just said
no. They said it before. They said it before. But the thing that would actually make the rest of the world pay attention is like, this idiot destroyed the Mona Lisa. Like his fuel technology did it. So that's why I didn't feel too bad about that.
If I'm to stretch real hard here, and I don't know if this is even something that Rian Johnson would agree with, but I think like if I look at his work for the last, 5-10 years, a lot of it is about reinvention. A lot of it is about like, forget the past, kill it if you have to. Like,
no,
there are no sacred
that was not
cows.
Lost on me.
Right. There are no sacred cows. Like art should be a constant process of reinvention and redoing and refining. And yes, we revere and are inspired by those that have come before us, but like we are ultimately forging a new path and making our own thing, So,
and I think that's a wonderful message, and it's one I totally get behind in The Last Jedi, et cetera, et cetera. And I like I said, it was not lost on me. I just found that moment where we're supposed to cheer that she made it. She got there to destroy the thing. I was like, but I don't like that she destroyed that. That's not a win.
I mean, it's not great. It's not, kind of not that there are many options there. One thing I want to point out before we wrap though is I do want to just give Rian Johnson some props for like consistently centering women of color and kind of making them heroines in so many ways. Because it's not just it's the first Knives Out, it's freaking Last Jedi too. Like it took that movie for an Asian woman to be like to play a major role in a Star Wars movie, and I think that's great. This is what allyship is.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, it's pretty impressive that Rian Johnson made a movie. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.